All right, what's going on, everybody? Kofuzi here. It's Trivia Tuesday. Something I'm going to give a try today. It is what day is it? May 12th, Tuesday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, local time. I thought that, it'd be good to have some kind of different topics or at least some sort of construct to give some structure to some of these, even though we're all just kind of hanging out and just chatting. So today I wanted to go with something alliterative, Monday mukbang. Something Tuesday that's not tacos, because that's definitely been done. So I thought I'd go with Trivia Tuesday. So we'll try that. See how we like Trivia Tuesday. I'm not like a bar trivia kind of person. I don't have a ton of experience with that. So we'll see how good of a trivia master I am. I'm not sure. I've done it only one other time before where I've been the one asking questions early on and kind of when everything was kind of changing. I was on Claire, Wild Ginger Runners, like it was her like happy hour on a Friday evening, and I was asking questions, and so I did that, and I thought that was pretty fun, and I felt like, as much as like people were giving good answers, I also really appreciate wrong answers, and I think funny wrong answers are the best kind. So I'm definitely encouraging that. There's no point system, there's no prize. We're just getting together talking. Today's theme is going to be about pizza. So I have a couple of questions ready, but as always, if you guys have questions about running, or if you guys don't want to do trivia questions at all today and just want to ask questions, that's what I'm here for. So it's like, that's the whole point of like making these live streams, so that they can be interactive. I want to make it fun for those of you who are actually here and participating live. So we can go with that. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Carlos, Sejas, Dave saying Pizza Q, Josh Payne's in here. We got Austin Allison. She said, "Don't let anything too exciting happen. She's got to go check on. He's got to go check on dinner." Awesome. Terrence, who got the foam roller ready. I know a lot of you guys are using this time to do some foam rolling. I think that's a great way to spend time doing this as well. So here we go. JC8049 says, "Here on a great day in Texas," and he likes pizza. Perfect. You're in the right spot. So I think just for today, we'll talk about. I'll just throw these questions out, kind of like periodically, random throughout, and then like in between, we'll talk about comments and see how you guys are doing. So the questions aren't meant to be too hard, because I recently participated in a Star Wars themed trivia with some of my family, and it was all the questions were super hard, and like we got like 3 questions right out of like 30, and I was like, whoa, that's not fun. And today I have 5 questions and a bonus. So not a ton of questions, but I'm keeping them. Some of them are harder than others, and we'll see. So the first question is going to be, and remember, no prizes, no bonuses, no points. But wrong answers are also permitted and encouraged. But the first is going to be, what city was pizza invented? So we'll do that. And while you guys are getting some answers in, I'm going to ask a question here, or a comment from Guillermo Munoz. He said, "Hi, Kofuzi. Yesterday I asked you about half marathon shoes. So I suggested the Beacon 2, and you gave me recommendations. Adidas SL20 are on the way for $64. My wife may still kill me. Thoughts?" Let her know that you got the shoe for like half off, and it's a fantastic shoe, and it's just an absolute bargain at that price. I think the SL20 is perfectly suited for half marathon racing and training for distances up to that length, especially if you're going to go harder. So the way I see it is running, even when you're doing it the way I do it, running is still cheaper than golf. Takes less time away from your family than watching football or basketball or baseball on TV. And for running, except for maybe a handful of times a year, I'm not going to tell my wife, hey, I got to go and sit at a bar and drink beers and watch this sporting event for a couple hours at a time. So I feel like on the over-under, there's many worse things that you could be doing with your time. And, it's good for you. Running's good for you. So those are my thoughts. All right, let's see what we got for answers here in terms of the city that invented pizza. Josh Payne says, "No idea. Somewhere in Italy, the Leaning Tower of..." I think he's making a pizza pun, which very good. Florence is an answer here from JC804099, but the answer that I'm looking for is Naples. Giuseppe Angelucci says Mama's Kitchen. With a name like that, that also could be right. So I'm not gonna say that's wrong. But Brett Reed says truck stop in Deer Lick, Indiana. That's pretty funny. I will say though, I think there's many like different calibers of pizza, and I think of gas station pizza, I do think that Casey's does the best job of all like the truck stop, gas station, like places that aren't like actual restaurants. I do think that Casey's is the best, especially the breakfast pizza. But the answer I was looking for is Naples. Terrence Hui says, we were supposed to go to Napoli in April this year, but you know what happened. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Keeper Vacation says, Chicago pizza is not real pizza. I will agree with you on that because I'm not from here and I don't have any sort of affiliation to the to that style. JH Lee says, is it pizza mukbang day? Haha. There will be for sure, but like there's kind of two ways that you could do the pizza mukbang. I can go and get a whole bunch of different kinds of pizza from Chicago. I suppose I can still do that. Get a variety of styles that are available in Chicago, of styles that claim that they are Chicago pizzas, and show you how varied it is and how there really isn't a such thing as a Chicago style. Or I'd rather like do a frozen pizza, so like something that's like really widely available. And do that kind of like a taste test. What was it? It was on Parks and Rec. That one guy had his like fake YouTube channel where he would like taste test like Tostitos and like different kinds of chips. Yeah, pretty much that. I used to have I have a series of video on different kinds of ramen noodles. I think they're still on the channel somewhere. There might even be a ramen playlist on this channel still. Vinci says, trivia and running. There is no better place. Awesome. Glad you like it. Cody Davis says, Gino's East likes the Chicago style. And and George Hernandez says, believes deep dish was invented in Chicago. I think that deep dish probably was invented in Chicago. I do think that it's a very Chicago, like it rings of Chicago, very, very certainly true. Like my mom will kind of say that. My mom has kind of said it in a different way. My mom's here, so I don't want to say it too bad so you guys don't harangue her too bad. But my mom and I kind of agree that the food in Chicago is kind of like sweeter. There's more sugar, fat, and salt in everything in Chicago. And I think I like to say it's because people are hardier here because they have to be because the winters are so hard. But like if you think about Chicago deep dish pizza, that's kind of it. So anyway. That's my thought on Chicago pizza. If I grew up eating it, I think I might like it more than I do right now. I like to make fun of it as saying that it is more of a pizza flavored casserole. It's, I think, the most accurate culinary description of deep dish pizza. Let's see. Shannon Side says St. Louis in here. Emos A or an A? I'm a nay on emos, but I'm not from St. Louis. I think if you're from St. Louis, you like it. Most people do, but I don't. I never really. I mean, I would eat it, but the only time I ever got emos was very, very, very late at night, and so of course, you kind of eat anything in that situation. Mark Trujillo says, listen to the morning version on Instagram during his morning runs and wanted to mention that intensity of massage guns can also be adjusted by varying the angle of foam head to your body. Oh, that's an interesting point. This morning we were talking about massage guns. Someone was asking me if I like the Theraguns or what is it? Hyper Ice. And that brand, for example, as a side note, Hyper Ice is what it's called. But every time I see it, it's all just one word. And I keep thinking it's called Hype Rice. And I keep thinking that it's a food and not a massage therapy gun, but it's called Hyper Ice. But they don't put a space in there or change it's not like Camel Case where like the different words are capitalized. But anyway, I worry about those things because it's hard to modulate intensity. But Mark Trujillo says you can modulate intensity by changing the angle, which makes sense. That makes sense. But I feel like I would get that wrong. I'm just kind of scared of those. I just feel like they're too intense for me. I'm also just scared of deep tissue massage generally. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Yeah, AJ Munn says Hype Rice. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Hype Rice. If you want to run fast, you need carbs, eat Hype Rice. I think that could be a pretty fun April Fool's Day product. Like a product launch. I think maybe my next April Fool's video. I mean, I know it's 11 months away, so it's a long play at this point, but Hype Rice. I like that idea. All right. Let's go to the second question. Piggybacking off the reference to Napoli and Naples pizza, how quickly must a traditional Neapolitan or a traditional like classic pizza be cooked? How quickly? Sorry, if you hear that in the background, The baby is listening. She's watching iPad videos with her headphones on, and she's 3. And you know, like when kids are 3 years old and they have headphones on, they can't tell how loud their voice is. So she's singing real loud along with the music of the iPad. So she's loving it, and she's belting out. So if you hear that, that's what it is. Well, we got answers all over the board. The best one so far, Brett Reed, is in terms of answering how fast does a Neapolitan pizza have to be cooked. He says pre-COVID or post-COVID. I think that's funny. We got answers all the way from, let's see, Lewis Cameron saying 7 minutes, John Bryan 3, Terrence Lee saying 2, JC804089 coming in with 1 minute. I think that's the closest that we're going to get. My research says, like, according to the official council in Naples, it has to be 60 to 90 seconds. So, like, there's a specific regulation for temperature, but also, like, temperature and time are going to be related in terms of the cook time. But it's supposed to be 60 to 90 seconds at a temperature of about, like, anywhere like 800 to 900 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what the Celsius conversion is on that, but super hot. And super quick too. But like, yeah, 60 to 90 seconds. I think that the rationale for that is when you cook it that quickly, it's perfect for like the consistency of pizza dough. Nico DeSimone says 500 degrees Celsius. And with an Italian sounding name like that, I'm going to definitely agree and take that conversion at face value. But I think the idea is that it's so hot that it cooks the outside of the crust and the bread at the right like speed for it to get that crusty outside, but like the doughy on the inside. So yeah, Lee Wilson says my oven doesn't go that high. No one's oven goes that high. That's why like everyone that's like, oh, I make the best at-home pizza. I'm like, you probably make good at-home pizza. I make good at-home pizza, but no one makes like good pizza at home. That's kind of how I feel about it. Stevie76 says I cook by feel. I don't know. I think that's a running joke. If that's a running joke, that's a really clever running joke. I think that's funny. Cody Davis says, you could put it on self-clean. It does get that high. I'm not sure if it gets like 900 degrees high, but I've heard of stories about people like they will like disable the latch because there's like a mechanism that prevents people from being able to like open or like an oven if it's in a self-cleaning mode. So basically, like self-cleaning modes, the oven just burns everything off that's on the inside, and then you like wipe it out with like super high heat. But it also like locks it so no one can open it because it's way too hot, so hot that it'd like hurt you. And so like I think people can like shave off the latches or something like that, and so that people have done that. I'm not willing to do that. Not when I live in a high-rise in a city that is as afraid of fire as Chicago is. I mean, like acceptably so. We had the Great Fire here, so like. I can understand why like people are very concerned about fires in this town. We have a history of it, but yeah. So like I usually cook mine at 500 degrees. We have a convection oven, and the 500 degrees for convection takes me about 7 minutes, sometimes 8, depending on toppings, to get a good color on the top. But I never get quite the crisp on the bottom that I want unless I have a meat topping. And then, like, for example, if I put, like, a good pepperoni on the pizza, which I don't do anymore because we don't eat meat anymore. Well, we'll have, like, fish at home. But, like, back when we used to eat pepperoni, the oil that comes off of the pepperoni would get into the crust and get, like, underneath, permeate the dough and then get, like, underneath. And that would, as the pan was hot, cook the oil and spread, and the oil conducts the heat, and that would make for a really beautiful crust, even in a home oven at 500 degrees. So that was really nice. But now, we don't cook with pepperoni anymore, so the crusts aren't as good. So we have yesterday we had pizza for dinner. I made pizza at home using we bought special pizza flour. And that's been really delicious. And I made a little bit thicker of a crust than I normally do. My wife was like, is this delivery or DiGiorno? Because it was like kind of that thickness, and I usually don't like it that thick. But it made for a really nice, like chewy, pleasant crust. And I was like, if I could just get the bottom cooked to the right temperature or hot enough without burning the top, that'd be a really satisfying home pizza. So I did order a pizza stone. So we're going to play around with that. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Lee Wilson says, yeah, if you put it on self clean, it's locked for 30 minutes. You gotta break the factory warranty to make it to cook with a pizza on self clean. The other thing that I've tried before is using a cast iron skillet, and we have an electric range with the glass top now, so we can't use our cast iron skillet anymore. But when we had a gas stove years ago, what I would do is I would just heat the iron skillet till it got really hot, and then put it upside down in the oven, and then put the pizza on top of that, and that would get it kind of like using a pizza stone, but like with a pizza stone, you got to preheat the oven for like 45 minutes. It's crazy. So I just felt like it was not a very energy efficient way to eat pizza, but it made for a good pizza, but it was really finicky because the bottom of the cast iron skillet's not very big, and so like you got to keep like you make a pizza, then you put it back on the oven, and then you make another pizza. It was a lot of effort. So I'm like a quantity / quality guy, like with my coffee, for example, so yeah, that was too much work for me. Lewis Cameron says, cook it on the grill outside. Self-clean will lock your oven. I've tried cooking it on the grill outside, and that is one of my favorite ways to eat pizza. It's quite delicious. I don't mind if it gets a little bit charred on it, but I'm okay with that. My wife hates stuff that's burned, and I tend to burn the dough. But I usually like par bake or par grill the pizza dough when I use a grill, and then put the toppings on, and then just use like the heat of the grill to like cook the toppings on. It's pretty tasty. Keyforification says, speaking of not eating meat, you should try Impossible Meat burger sometime. I do eat those somewhat, not regularly, but like I do have those. I like Beyond. Like, in Chicago, we have available to us Beyond Burgers and Impossible Burgers. Both are pretty tasty. So I go to Epic Burger from time to time, and I think they have Impossible Burgers there. And then where do I go? It was Qdoba has the Impossible Burrito, which is pretty tasty. So they use the Impossible meat as crumbles, and I think as crumbles is the best application for like the fake meat. So like in a chili, in a taco, in a burrito, delicious, or a nachos, it's pretty good. But the Impossible Burgers are pretty good too. I'm always really impressed with Impossible and Beyond. It's amazing. I think those are really great transitional foods for a lot of people, and I like to have them as treats every once in a while. But I try not to eat them too much. No, just because it's expensive. That's the main reason. Nico Di Simone says, also an important the power of flour. Yes, for sure. I think under the Neapolitan rules, it has to be 0 flour or 00 flour, like it's a specific milling size. And I also think that the grains have to be from the region in order to be like considered classic Neapolitan style pizza. I clearly don't have access to those kinds of grains here, or I guess maybe I would. Maybe I could get them imported. But the pizza flour that I've been getting is milled really fine, which has been interesting to work with. Guillermo Munoz says uses a 00. Yeah, that's a good one. Dave Phillips says cook the dough alone for a few minutes. I've played around with that a couple of times too in order to get a little bit more of a crust on my pizza, but it ends up being more crackery than it is like the crisp of like, you need the hot surface, I feel like, on the bottom to really get it to be right. And maybe at this point I'm just splitting hairs, but I'm also doing a YouTube live stream trivia about pizza, so I'm ready to be there to split hairs when it comes to making pizzas, I guess. Phil Orban with the comment of the day: DiGiorno is good, but they charge a hype rice, in my opinion. That's such a terrible pun. But well played, Phil. Oh man, that's funny. Points for that, for sure. Austin Allison says, Pizza Stone and the grill has worked for me when it wants crispy bottom. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that, and I've never tried a Pizza Stone on the grill before. We have a common area on our rooftop, and so I can't leave a Pizza Stone up there, but I don't even know if the grills are open or on, because it would be about this time of year where they start, the building would start supplying them with gas, and so I don't know if they've done that given everything that's going on. Guillermo Munoz has a stone from Emily Henry. I've never heard of that. Cool. Luis Becerra says, oh man, you talk about pizza. I don't get my lunch break until 3 p.m. Sorry, dude. Yeah, Austin Allison is managing dinner and waiting for dinner to finish cooking, and I'm talking about pizza, and it's killing people. Like it's been a popular subject. I felt like for the first Trivia Tuesday, I felt like it was like what better topic for us to have because we end up talking about pizza here a lot, it seems. Carlos Sejas asks, "Have I tried the Impossible Whopper?" I haven't tried that one. I've tried like a lot of the fast food Impossible burgers, and I'd like to try the Impossible Whopper, and also have I had that? I wanted to say that I have had it though. Maybe I have. I think I have. The other one that I really want to try though is the White Castle one. White Castle has one too, which just blows my mind, but I think that's amazing. All right. Cody Davis says, people unwilling to break the latch on an oven to cook pizza is heartbreaking. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. That's just that's like my limit. I mean, I think if I lived by myself and maybe not in a structure that has so many shared walls, maybe I'd be more willing to do it. But I live in not a common space, but like there's a lot of people around, so I got to be a little careful. Cody Davis uses 00 flour and he makes pasta as well. I never made pasta with 00 flour. I used to, before kids were born, we used to make our own pasta all the time, and I loved it. So delicious. But I never used 00 flour. I never got like that into it. Steve Whitey says, ate a whole pizza for lunch and hoped my run tonight would burn off the calories. Sadly, only half. Tom A.K. says, 3:15 p.m. ran home for Co's Pizza. Awesome. All right. With that, let's get to the next question. All right. Question number 3 for the day, pizza theme for Trivia Tuesday, is what pizza mega chain has prominent product placement in 2 movies, Wayne's World and Spaceballs? Yeah, not a daily double, Stevie, but it's a question number 3, which there'll be a bonus, so the bonus question will be there. I get no prize for the bonus, but it'll be a bonus. So what pizza mega chain has prominent product placement in the 2 movies, Wayne's World and Spaceballs? Spaceballs, by the way, I feel like is other than I haven't seen, what is it, the movie that everyone keeps saying is like exactly like what's going on now? Was it Idiocracy? Something like that. It was like one of those movies. The other movie that I think is really poignant for right now is Spaceballs, because remember in Spaceballs, the whole premise of the movie is that everyone's running out of air, and so like in that movie, the president of that one planet that the princess is from is telling everyone that like there is no air shortage. We're doing fine on air. We're fine on air. Like, don't worry. And then as soon as like his press conference is over, he opens a drawer in his desk and it's filled with cans of Perrier. Remember that? I just feel like there's a lot of symbolism or similarities I'm seeing. All right, we got a lot of answers here. The answers are basically Domino's or Pizza Hut, and yes, the answer is Arnold Ellen is yes, the Jewish princess. That's right. Druidia is the planet that was running out of air, or they were worried about their air supply. But yes, Pizza the Hut. Pizza Hut is the answer for that one, because Pizza the Hut was the Jabba the Hutt like spoof, and I was doing some research on that, and they said that they made his costume with pancake batter is how they got like that stuff. And barf. David Phillips says pizza the butt was basically a pile of barf. Not barf, not in here. This is a Mercedes. No, barf. Bartholomew, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. But that Pizza the Hut costume was made out of pancake batter. Well, I'm assuming other things too, but like the goopy stuff was pancake batter. But they said it was real pepperoni that they used to make that costume. And you know what? I remember growing up, for whatever reason, like Spaceballs never had a sequel. But me and my friends were all convinced that there was going to be a Spaceball sequel. And we always talked about it like, oh man, I can't. We talked about it like people talk about like Marvel movies now, how like, how there's like the calendar and they've like got it mapped out for the next 6 years. Like how there's going to be like 2 Marvel movies a year or whatever. I think that like, me and my friends used to talk about Spaceballs, and that we were certain that the next movies to Spaceballs was going to be Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2. Does anyone else remember that at all? Or did me and my friends just make that up? Like, where did we get, I don't know where we got that from. I've never heard anyone else reference a Spaceballs sequel before, but like I really wanted to have a Spaceballs sequel. And I felt like once we got the second trilogy, the time was ripe, especially with like how much everyone didn't like Phantom Menace and Jar Jar Binks and everything. I felt like we really need another Spaceballs spoof movie, but we never got one. So I was disappointed. I would still love to see Spaceballs 3: The Search for 2. Let's see. Dan Rodriguez says Geno's East. He thinks Geno's East was in both movies. In Wayne's World, remember it was when Wayne and Garth were talking about how they weren't going to sell out, and they were like they had a table of stuff, and the table was just all sponsors, and like he was trying to talk about how he's not going to sell out, and he's opening a box of like Pizza Hut and like taking a delicious bite. So that was that part of that movie that I thought was really funny. Austin Allison said there was a joke in the movie that there was going to be a sequel, but was there did they have a name for it? I mean, I know they talked about all the merchandising and stuff, but like, did they give it? Where did I get the name Spaceballs 3: The Search for 2? Matthew Wenzel says Rick Moranis didn't want to do a sequel. Rick Moranis was for a very long time my favorite actor because he was in some of my favorite movies, like growing up, were Spaceballs and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and its progeny. The progeny the other movies weren't as good, but like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was a really good movie, and I had so much fun with that one. It was just such a great adventure movie. I really liked it. Michael Sessler says, whether you do or do not like pizza, this is a pretty entertaining stream. I'm glad you guys like it. Ben says Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. That's a good title too. That could be a good one. Yeah. All right, let's go to question number 4. It's not nearly as funny, but it brings us back to the same period of time. What was the name? Because a lot of people were saying Domino's for the last one, and the answer was Pizza Hut. But for this one, I guess if you're younger, you probably have no idea what Spaceballs is, or like maybe you don't even know what Wayne's World is if you're younger. Do people know what Wayne's? I mean, people know what like Billy Madison and like those movies because they were on MTV like on repeat all the time for a while. But do people know Wayne's World? I don't know. So the question number 4 is, what was the name of the Domino's mascot in the 90s? I guess it was in the 80s too, but in the 90s it got huge. There was like a video game. I think there were multiple video games. There was a cartoon. It was crazy. It was everywhere. Everyone remember that? Ines Dunbar says, my friend literally fell off his seat in the cinema watching Wayne's World. Wayne's World was that was like a cultural touchstone for me and my friends because we were at like just the right high school age for that movie, and such a funny movie. And then I thought that Aurora, Illinois was such like a weird, fantastic place growing up in New Jersey, and I lived in New Jersey when I saw that movie. And then I drove through Aurora, Illinois sometime in like the early 2000s, I think, maybe the late 90s, and I was just like, okay, this is Aurora, Illinois. All right, where's that car spear with all the cars on it? I never found it. Not that I like drove around for it, but anyway. TJM runs. What happened to Steve Guttenberg? I think that with the collapse of the Stonecutters, Steve Guttenberg was no longer a star. I think that's what happened. George Zhang says, I have no clue what Spaceballs or Wayne's World is. Who's Cameron says Yoink. Terrence Hui has the first one, the Noid. Yep, that's the first correct answer. Scott says the Noid. Cody Davis says Tony the Tiger. Good, incorrect answer. Mark Cheng Coco said they had a mascot. Yes, I did some recent research on it, and the idea for the Noid was that like Domino's also had the 30-minute guarantee that they could get a pizza to your house in 30 minutes or less. Otherwise, it was like for a while it was like free or it was discounted or whatever. And the Noid was supposed to be it was always supposed to try and delay the pizza. That was like the Noid's like objective. And so he was kind of like a Wile E. Coyote type of character. And I don't know why that caught on. It wasn't that great. But like everyone was like obsessed with the Noid. It was amazing. AJ Munn says, I'm probably the youngest person here. I tried watching Wayne's World, but I don't know. I just couldn't watch it. Yeah, I think it's very much a period of the time. I think like today's humor is very different than that. And so, I feel like if there were a new Wayne's World, it wouldn't be about public access. It'd be about a YouTube channel for sure. For sure. And I'm surprised we don't have that movie already. Where is that movie? We need that movie. Who would be in that movie? If there were a Wayne's World reboot, but with a YouTube channel, would it even be about music? It'd be about gaming for sure. It'd be for sure about gaming. Shia LaBeouf would probably be the star. Kiefer Vacation says, at least we're getting another Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure movie. Are we really? I didn't know that. That's amazing. Arnold Alana says, "Ko, you are old." I am. I'm very old. I had a comment on YouTube the other day for the Ultra Boost 20 review that Ed Bud and I did together, and he was commenting. And I think it's funny when people comment as if I'm like a huge channel and that I don't actually read the comments. They talk about me like the third person or as if I'm not there. And the commenter was like, "Man, this guy's old. I'm like in high school and I run my miles in the 7 minutes per mile." And I was like, "That's cool. I'm 40." So like whatever. It was pretty funny. Tom AK says Co's only 38. That's very generous. I like it. Luis Becerra says Naked Gun is also a funny movie. Yeah, I think I was a little bit too young for the Naked Gun. But those movies are very classically funny in a very different kind of way. Like going back and watching Airplane now, that would also be another good sequel movie to make or like a reboot to make. I don't know that they could pull it off now, but like to redo Airplane would be kind of funny. Ivan Ross says favorite Gyakuso. My favorite Gyakuso is probably the Gyakuso Turbo. That one, it just looks like a Snow Patrol shoe or something like that. It has like this like rugged, speedy utilitarianism to it, which I think looks awesome. But I also think that's very different than what Gyakuso typically designs. So it's a little bit of a departure. I'm not a huge fan of the Gyakuso Next Percent. Was it Next Percents that he did? I'm not a huge fan of those. I think it's mainly because I don't like puffy laces, and those all have puffy laces, and it's just a big turnoff. Arnold Lenny says PewDiePie. Yeah, I think PewDiePie could be, I mean, it'd be hard though because he keeps having like those brushes with Scandal, so that might be a little bit harder to do. But I guess what like mega YouTuber doesn't have those brushes with Scandal. But I think that like a Wayne's World reboot would be like PewDiePie's World, something like that. That'd be funny. Keyforcation says there is a Bill and Ted's reboot coming, or another Bill and Ted, not a reboot, but another Bill and Ted's movie, and Keanu's in it. That's amazing. I love that Keanu Reeves is having like a resurgence, like an act 2 to his, or I guess like an act 3 to his career. It's amazing. Let's see. AJ Months is waiting for Top Gun 2. Any opinions? I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like that's a dangerous one to like do more of. I think it'll make a lot of money for sure. You'll get definitely a lot of nostalgia ticket sales, if there are ticket sales when it comes out. When is it supposed to come out? I don't know. But like, I don't know. I'm worried about it. I feel like in order to make it kind of have mass appeal, it's not going to be that great. I'm worried. Greg calling me a boomer. Shannon Sai said, "Did you say Airplane? Shirley, you have just become my favorite YouTube channel ever." Yeah, but I think there's not enough references to Airplane in YouTube, maybe. But don't call me Shirley. That's what Scott says. Let's see. Austin Allison says, "Running is an old person sport. Running equals everything is sore. Old person equals everything is sore. Running equals old person." I like your algebra there. It works. All right, let's get to question number 5. Going from nostalgia to the future. What country was the first pizza by drone delivery ever made? It wasn't the United States, by the way. So, question number 5 for today. Motivation Theory says Airplane is the best. Yeah, I do want to watch that again now. Is that on Netflix? I hope it is, because if it is, I'm going to watch it. I wonder, I know there's parts of it that are not going to be like, even with today, under today's standards, that are going to be safe for kids to watch. So I'll have to watch that some other time if I can find it. Steve Whitey says, "Don't call me Shirley. I say every time a client calls the office for me and called Shirley." The guys in the office, the guys in the office don't get it. It's funny. India. That's a good guess for the first drone delivery pizza. Not it. Stevie76 says UK. I think also a really good guess. Not it either. David Phillips says Japan. Yeah, I would think that too. But Luis Becerra has the correct answer with New Zealand. It was in Auckland, at least according to my quick Google search. All these answers are according to my quick Google search. So, like, I could definitely be wrong on this, but the answer I'm looking for is New Zealand. In Auckland, there was a pizza delivery by drone. I'm wondering if there are different, like, not FAA, but whatever, the New Zealand regulatory body for airspace. that make it easier for that to happen, or if it was just like some franchisee in New Zealand was like, dude, I'm going to do this. And Domino's was like, cool. I don't know how that happened. I need to look into that further. But New Zealand is correct. Joseph Horn says Australia. I guess that's kind of close. Arnold Eleni says probably shouldn't run in a tornado warning, right? Yeah, probably not. KJ Mark 8773 says South Korea. And like South Korea and Japan, I think could be good guesses. South Korea does have a really strong delivery culture. I mean, you can get like bowls of noodles delivered from a dude on a moped in Korea. You can get anything delivered in Korea. But I also feel like in those countries, like the population density in the cities is so high that like I don't know how like the drones would be able to fly safely. Cody Davis says UAE. Lee Wilson says Tokyo. Jan says Japan. Yeah. Luis Becerra says town of Paraoa. Yeah, that's amazing. Stevie76 of Buffett will buy it. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Oh man, can you imagine if like Berkshire Hathaway bought Domino's and then like for the shareholders meeting, if you were a shareholder and went to the shareholders meeting, you get a pair of like Berkshire Hathaway, like Warren Buffett Ghost 12s or Ghost 13s, like if it's next year, and then like a pizza with like pepperoni shaped in Buffett's face. That'd be amazing. Terrence Wee says, Kofuzi, did you ever have Korean pizza? My wife is Korean, but said it's similar to Japanese pizza, which I've had. Mayo plus bulgogi. I have never had that before. I remember though, I mean, I haven't been to Korea since about 1990, so it's been a long time. And maybe 1991, maybe 1992. I was like 12 or 13, I think. Not quite a teenager yet. And I remember then there was pizza, but cheese in Korea at the time tasted funny. Even like processed cheese or American cheese, it had a weird tang to it. And Cody Davis says you forgot the hype rice. Yes, Korean pizza, mayo, bulgogi, and hype rice. That's so funny. I just love the pun. That product I'm gonna see now, like Korean pizza when I see hype rice ads on Instagram now. But like the cheese just tasted different. Like that, and that's one thing that I really miss. I lived there for a summer with my relatives. Like my parents came over for like 2 weeks, and then like they left, and then I just stayed in Korea with relatives for a while. And then after that, like I just really missed. That was the only thing I missed was the fast food. Like McDonald's, because they had McDonald's. It tasted funny. They had like fast food places, and they served kimchi there, and I was like, what is this? Why is this happening? I didn't understand it. Pizza had potatoes on it. Potatoes, is that still a thing in South Korea? I don't know. So like it was just so weird, pizza when I was over there. But I don't know what the pizza situation is like in Korea anymore. I'm curious. Vince C says, can you tip a drone? And let's see. I think that you would probably, I don't know. I think it could really reduce prices on it. And Austin Allison says you can tip a drone if you sneak up on it. That's funny. My daughter and I have talked about self-driving cars a lot. My dream for my daughter is that she never has a driver's license. She might have a government ID but never need to have a driver's license because there'll be self-driving cars. That's my dream. And that we could just get in a box, like the four of us could get in a box that drives itself, and we could just have a dinner table on the inside of it, and we could just have dinner and play board games and relax as we go to grandma's house for the weekend. And then my daughter's like, you know what they should have in that self-driving car, Dad? They should have a pizza machine or a taco machine, so we can have pizza and tacos when we go to grandma's house. I'm like, you should invent that. I'm like, the world depends on you, my child. Bachfam says it probably would be better now that you're older to go back and realize that was all this was all awesome in Korea. Yeah, I mean, I would love to go back, and I was thinking about going back because I was going to go to the Olympics in Tokyo, and then once you're over there, it's a 12-hour time difference, 13-hour time difference. So like by the time you're there, you can't just go for a weekend. So I was going to spend a couple of weeks there and try to visit some relatives and just go visit Korea for a little bit and experience some of that. But, that's kind of out the window now. So, all right, let's get to the bonus question real quick before we go. And someone had mentioned it earlier on, and it's related to that. Someone had mentioned taco pizza after like the first question. And so the bonus question today is going to be, what are the ingredients or what are the toppings of the Happy Joe's Taco Joe pizza? Yeah, Showcase Showdown, double points. Still don't win anything, but double points if you get this right. What are the ingredients on a Happy Joe's Taco Joe pizza? There are 3 kinds of taco pizzas, which I didn't realize. I just always thought it was taco pizza. But there are 3 kinds now of taco pizzas. But the Taco Joe, like the regular Taco Joe, what are the ingredients of it? Arnold Allen says it's just a pineapple. No, it's not. It's not. I don't think it. Sometimes we get some Iowans in here, and they usually know. Terrence says mayo and bulgogi. No, the correct answer is mayo, bulgogi, and hype rice. Joshua Payne says, goodness, I need to get out more. These questions all went over my head. I mean, the taco pizza is like a little known, like I would call it Iowa style pizza. The dough is a little bit like crackerier of a pizza dough. I would say it kind of tastes like a dough that was made in a large, typically it tastes like a dough that was made in a large production facility and flash frozen and then defrosted when it gets put into a commercial pizza oven. That's kind of the flavor it has in terms of the crust. But other than that, it's sometimes cut into squares, sometimes cut into triangles. Happy Joe's always cuts into triangles, but very small triangles. It's kind of meant more for sharing, akin to when you cut a pizza in squares. The slices are always really small. So you get like, if you got like normally like 8 slices from a regular pizza, I think you get 12 from a Happy Joe's pizza. But we got some good answers here. Luis Becerra says Doritos, and that's kind of close because crushed nacho flavored tortilla chips are on there. I don't think they're actually Doritos. That's why they don't say it's Doritos. Salsa and jalapeno are not on it. KJ Mark 8773 says. Matthew Wenzel says love. Who's been messing with the machine? That's not one of the answers, although I'm sure they are made with love. Let's see. Lorenzo Caliento says, I am from Italy, and taco pizza sounds strange. It is strange, but people love it. Terrence Lee says ground beef, cheddar, and jack cheeses. The ground beef is correct based off of the website listing. Which I only go with the website listing because there's an ingredient in there that I'm not sure is in the taco pizzas that I've eaten. But it says taco seasoned beef is one of the ingredients, sausage. But the sausage that comes on Happy Joe's pizza, it's like a ground beef, but like almost like a chorizo, but like without like the chili pepper and like the chili powder seasoning on it. So it's kind of like that. So it's ground beef and sausage. The other ingredients are Luis says, I'm just hungry, man. I need to eat something now. So I'll give you guys the answer. It's in addition to those 2 meats, you get lettuce, tomatoes, and crushed taco chips is what they call it, but it's basically Doritos that are crushed up. And it says refried beans, but I don't remember ever having actual refried beans on a Happy Joe pizza. I'm gonna have to ask my relatives about that. But that's what it says on the website. And it's served on the side, kind of like how if you've eaten like Papa John's, you get the cups of like the garlic butter on the side. On the side of a Happy Joe's pizza, there is taco sauce, not hot sauce, but taco sauce, which I'm not exactly sure what the difference is. But it's Happy Joe branded taco sauce that they sell enough of it that they've gone to a distributor and have their logo on these packets of hot sauce. It looks like a ketchup packet. And that is a taco pizza, what I would consider Iowa style pizza. So I think that's a really great place to end it for today. Thanks everyone for tuning in and humoring me with Trivia Tuesday. I was doing this as an experiment, but I just feel like I don't know how we're going to top this Trivia Tuesday with any other subjects because that was pretty fun. I hope you guys had fun too. And hope you guys stay safe on your runs out there. I'll be back on Instagram tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. or back here at 3 p.m. No trivia tomorrow. We'll do trivia again next week. Tomorrow, I think we'll just have a chat. I don't think there's going to be any specific subject for it, but we'll just hang out. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. I had a lot of fun today, guys. See you guys tomorrow.